All right, this is a message for my fellow longtime conservatives and Republicans who may still be conservative and Republican. I'm not Republican anymore at all. I still have a lot of conservative views, but I do not support MAGA at all. I can't because one, it's not conservative at all, and as a Christian, it's not Christian at all either. But as a former conservative and lifelong Republican, I used to get really upset when people outside of our group would call us racist. Maybe we would support, less welfare money. And for a lot of people I knew, and for me personally, it wasn't because, I didn't even think, oh, well, most people on welfare are black, or I don't even know if they are. In fact, I think most people were white, actually. But, there was a stereotype that most people on welfare were black. So if you wanted less welfare or you wanted to make it harder to get or put in some kind of work requirement, people would call it racist. They would say you're trying to hurt black people. And, I bristled at that because to me, it wasn't a racial thing at all. It was a belief that people should work for what they get. So if they're able bodied and all that. Anyway, I don't, I've kind of rethought all of that and I have kind of different views on those things now. I still, in principle, agree, but as far as government forcing things like that, have a kind of a different view now. But Donald Trump has done some things that are just so outlandishly racist that I don't see how anybody can say that he's not a racist. And the latest example, just yesterday, he reposted this guy who's a disgusting, vile pig, if I can say. This guy is talking about the Somalis in Minneapolis, and he's talking about this claim that they committed billions of dollars in fraud with the schools or the lunch meals or something with the schools for the kids, right? And his basic assertion is, do you think they could be smart enough to do that? He's literally saying these black Africans can't be that smart. And he's insinuating that some group, probably some liberal group, was behind it, right? Behind the fraud. To blame. So why bother blaming Somalis when we can get more mileage out of blaming liberals or Democrats, right? Or George Soros or whatever. And that's kind of where he's going at. It's just a 25-second clip. But I just want you to hear how vile this is. Just listen how vile it is. I'm going to beep out the F word because I just don't want to play that on this channel. But, when and where I can avoid it, and I can avoid it here. So, but anyway, when you hear the beep, that's what he's saying. But that's one thing. But, this whole thing about he's like 60% of them are so stupid or whatever. There's no way they could do that. It's just such a racist thing. It's totally based on race. It's completely based on race. The fact that they're black, the fact that they're African, all of that. It's just vile. And the president, he actually reposted this twice, not just once. Once wasn't enough. But within the same hour, he reposted it twice. Anyway, here's what the guy who our president greatly admires, so much so that he was willing to repost this video twice.
You arrested 92 Somalis. You arrested 92 random people that have an IQ of 60, bro. Okay?
Right. So I got it wrong. It was like 60% of them. No, he's saying they have an IQ of 60. Why? Because they're monkeys? That's what the insinuation used to be, right? The black people were monkeys, and he's saying they have an IQ of 60. It's like saying they're animals, they're not even human. What human has an IQ as low as 60, right? It's just disgusting, absolutely disgusting, this guy.
You're going to tell me that these Somalis who have an average IQ of 68 somehow came up with this plan to defraud the government? That's interesting, because do you think they also came up with the plan to donate half of the money that they defraud the government out to Act Blue? Like they come up with that plan too?
Right.
Yeah, so obviously they couldn't have come up with a plan to fund Act Blue with this. So some liberal, Act Blue organization was behind it. But isn't that disgusting? And especially for those of you who support this president and everything he does, and you consider yourselves a Christian, you got to think about this. This ain't in the Bible. This is not what the Bible teaches. It doesn't teach this kind of hatred towards people. This insinuation that they're animals, disgusting. And his foul language, and the president posted it, he loves it. You know, as Christians, Paul tells us to have a clean mouth, to think pure thoughts, to keep our minds on what's clean and pure and holy and good. This is where your minds and hearts are being dragged to. You can't compromise with this for long before you become it yourself. This is dangerous stuff for a Christian to be near, and it's dangerous for anyone in our country to support. All right. Anyway, I just wanted to bring this to your attention, and I hope a lot of you MAGA supporters, especially the ones who think you're Christians, will look at this and say, how can a Christian support that? Jesus told us to love everyone, to love our neighbors, even our enemies, even George Soros. All right. I mean, he told me to even love this guy. Okay. So I struggle with that a little bit. But, you know, we all have to obey what our Lord tells us to do. All right. So that's about it. And I will talk to you soon. I appreciate you listening. Take care.